Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the KeithAndrewNetWork. It is episode 920. Today, we don't have one or two, but we have three guests on the KeithAndrewNetWork, maybe four, but hey, anything can happen. But with that being said, we have a great cast. All of them are in the entertainment world. I can't wait to jump right into it. For people who want to know what is the KeithAndrewNetWork, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. Prove to them it's still amount to something. So that being said, let's jump right into it. All right, Michael, the first question I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about yourself and the type of work that you do now.
Well, I hope there wasn't a misunderstanding, because although I am a writer and I have been writing screenplays for a while now and have won a couple of awards and had a short film that I wrote won some awards, I am primarily a film composer. I have worked going back in, before that I wrote music for advertising. So I am probably best known for writing the Kit Kat Gimme a Break jingle, although I've also worked a lot on teams of that Hans Zimmer has put together. I worked on a number of movies that he scored that I did additional music and violin playing on. And then I scored a few television shows myself, including Cold Case and Siren and some others. And I was a governor of the Television Academy. So that's sort of a messy portfolio right there. But I have been writing screenplays for a while. A friend suggested I submit one to the Nickel Fellowship, and it was a semifinalist. So I submitted a second, and it was a semifinalist. So I figured I must be doing something right. And I had a couple of near misses getting things off the ground that didn't happen, and finally decided, well, I'm just going to produce a short film myself. Did a 20-minute science fiction film called The Aspirant, which has been making the festival rounds. And as I said, it's won 14 bests so far. So I'm pretty pleased with that and trying to move ahead with a television version of it. We'll see if I can get anywhere with that. I guess that's in a nutshell, other than to say, I always have a little bit of a problem with the word disability, and that is because I am autistic, and I think that's pretty definitive, but I'm not stereotypical in the ways that some people view that. And in some ways, I like Greta Thunberg's concept of autism, which she says that she views it as her superpower. Well, that's a little bit of a joke, but nonetheless, there are things that are both abilities and disabilities about it. And I think that one of the things that my younger brother, for example, is dyslexic, and he's a judge. And I ask him, how can you be all the stuff you have to read as a judge? And he has a whole system of things that he does to do that. So I really endorse your mission here, Keith, which is that just because the world says, oh, well, you're dyslexic, so you can't do anything involving reading, he finds ways to do it, and he's done pretty well. And even though I'm autistic, and there are a lot of ways that things that are uncomfortable for me that are comfortable for others, and things that I really miss in terms of social cues and so forth, it hasn't kept me from having a meaningful life, and one that I feel like I've contributed something to the world. And I would really feel that I'm sure that Naz has her story to tell as well, but it's, you know, I think that most of those of us, there's a reason why I think we're drawn to the arts, which is that's one place that, you know, being neuroatypical is endorsed. And I'm really glad to be both a composer and a writer.
Absolutely.
So your turn.
So now we're going to go over to box 2. Tell us a little about yourselves.
First off, Mike, give me a break. I'm joking.
I was asking for that one. What can I tell you?
That was great.
Oh, wow. I just want to say before I tell you about myself, Mike, it's an honor to meet you. My son has Asperger's, and I don't know if I have it. I just know that we are very similar. And my name is Nadira Pankey. I am a writer, producer, and director of Gerald's Hands. Andrew McCallister starred as Gerald in Gerald's Hands. And Gerald's Hands started off as a thriller, right? But I was compelled to make it into an inspirational drama because of what I've endured with bullying and being ostracized and what I saw my son go through. And as a parent, it hurts because you want to step in and you want to help, but you can't make people be nice, right? So there's all kind of content that's constantly going out. And I want to put content out that's going to help people to be a little bit nicer, to be kind, to understand. I think it's very important to understand. Like you said, it's not a disability, it's an ability, it's a superpower that we have because although there are some challenges, right, we're still able to do a lot of things. My son he's amazing. He's one of the best people that I know. So we have Gerald's Hands. He's about a man who is autistic on the spectrum, and he's dealing with grief, and he's dealing with he's dealing with grief and loss, and he's trying to maintain his regular norms, keep his home, and he has a love interest, and he doesn't know how to kind of deal with that. How does he deal with that? And his friends come in, and kind people come in, and they help him. And that's how I would like it to be for everybody. I would like for people to be kind and for us to help one another and love one another. So that's where Gerald's Hands comes in. I think it's an amazing story. I'm so proud of it because it is something that is going to make a difference. It's something that's going to change the world and change people. And that's what I want, right? I want it to be that way hopefully for my grandkids and for the future, and also for my son. I want it to be that way for everyone. And like you said, I won't say disabled. I'll say abled. I'll say who has a superpower. I'll say for all of us that have superpowers, I want for us to fit in and not be looked at because or considered weird. And people call me weird. She's weird. She's strange. And I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with Asperger's. I just know that my son and I are just alike. I mean, we're like twins. And so I can really feel for him. Another thing that I will say is I've never met a cruel or mean autistic person in my life. I haven't. I don't know if someone is out there, but I have not. I mean, my son is sweet. Everyone that I've met in the autistic community, they're wonderful people. They're wonderful, just good heart, good intentions. And so I just want for people to be respected and treated with kindness. And I want to also bring awareness and more understanding. And I'm hoping that we can do that through Gerald's Hands.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm Andrew R McCallister. I'm an actor and have the privilege and honor to be sitting next to Nadira here and be an executive producer on the project as well. So it's a great learning curve and tremendous foreign place for me to be in because I'm always in front of the camera, but being behind it, I've learned a ton. And this story has already moved and challenged me in so many different ways. And I know that although it hasn't been released yet, right? But through the trailer and some of the marketing and various other means that we're getting the word and the Gerald's message out, it's already touched so many people. And I just cannot wait to see how this and other work that Nadira has already done and is going to do in the future is going to impact so many people. So I'm just honored to be here and to meet you all. And thank you for having us so far. I can't wait to see what the rest of this interview.
Nadira, I'll send you a link to my film if you send me a link to yours. So
yes, absolutely. Let's go. Yes, it's such an honor.
I'm going to put my email in the chat, and so you.
And your Instagrams will be on the bottom of the screen. I didn't know you were joining us, but if you send me your Instagram, I definitely will send you a follow me request, and it will be on the bottom of the screen as well.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, indeed. Thank you.
I know this is so retro, but I don't do Instagram. I'm too overwhelmed with too much social media. So I'm stuck on the boomer thing. I do Facebook, but
you do Facebook too.
I know it's horrible. I should be TikToking and everything else, but
it's easier and more user-friendly, I think.
Yeah. You know, as your hairline recedes, you move from TikTok to Instagram all the way to Facebook.
Well, with everything you just talked about, your company and the film that you're working on, so the next question I want to ask you is, have you worked with people with disabilities, and how can people with learning disabilities work with you and get in touch with you? So Michael, I'm going to ask serves you.
Well, I mean, the answer is I'm in the arts, so I deal with people with disabilities or altered abilities all the time. I mean, that's just, you know, whether it's ADHD, OCDs, any number of other non-typical, you know, there's sort of a shorthand in that community, which is they refer to people who are supposedly normal as neurotypical or NTs. In my business, there may be 4 people who are not neuroatypical, and so the answer is yeah. I think it's a pretty common thing. In terms of getting in touch with me, I have a website, Michael Levine Music, and you're welcome to email me there. I know that's also, again, so boomer, but Levine, yeah, Michael Levine Music, and that's probably the best way to get in touch with me.
Absolutely. What about you guys?
I have one son diagnosed ADHD and anxiety, and another one Asperger's. And then I have my own thing going on. But also on top of that, when my kids were younger, I was a school bus driver. And so I worked with disabled children, and I loved it. I love it. I never treated anybody any different, because I don't think we're all different in our own way, right? We're all created different, but we're all, well, I would say unique, but yeah, exactly. But we're all the same, right? And we all want to be treated equally. And that's what I'm about. You know, I'm not about, I believe this world is built on classism. This one, you're better than me. I'm better than you. I have more than you. I'm not about that. I don't believe what you have defines who you are. I believe who you are in here, in your heart, that defines who you are. So I'm very big on treating people equally, treating people with respect, all people. It doesn't matter if you have a superpower or you don't have a superpower, right? It doesn't matter. I have to treat you. You're a human being, and you deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. And so I have, and I've enjoyed it. I think, you know, everything in life takes patience, and good communication skills and understanding. And that's the main thing. We have to teach our community, our children, our loved ones understanding. Because here's the thing. When I grew up as a kid, I was always taught it's not good to laugh or make fun or be cruel to someone who was blind or in a wheelchair. You can see that disability for them. And if you do see someone that way, you should help them, be kind. So the same way we're taught to be kind to someone who is blind or in a wheelchair, you know, has a disability that we can see, we have to teach people to show the same love and kindness to the special powers that they can't see or they don't understand, such as Asperger's. And that's where I'm at. That's how I feel. And then the second question, I think, was how can you reach me? Was that the second question?
Yes.
How can I? Well, my website is nazpankey.com. My Gmail account is nazpankey@gmail.com. I am on Instagram under nazpankey and Nadira_Pankey. So yeah, just that nazpankey, you'll be able to reach me. Also, Gerald, we have a website, geraldshands.com. Anything you want to know about the movie, about who's involved, about what we stand for, about our message, our intent, everything you want to know about Gerald's Hands is at geraldshands.com. Please subscribe. Please follow us. Please just join the movement. Let's spread the goodness, you know. Let's spread the goodness.
On this project specifically, Gerald's Hands, there were two actresses, they're autistic, and also on the soundtrack, we have a gentleman that has contributed some music, who is autistic himself, and who's written a book, and he's been Grammy nominated for some of the work that he's done musically, and he's also an outstanding autistic and autism activist. Marcus Boyd.
Marcus Leonardo Boyd. He is amazing. He's amazing. He has a short movie out. He has a book out, a coloring book out. I mean, he is just, and I mean, a sweet soul. He's a beautiful person. He's an autistic activist. So he speaks out. He speaks his testimony about what he went through. I think he didn't start talking until he was 13 or 16, something like that. And his parents couldn't understand him and what he had to overcome and endure. And he's just a delight. He's a beautiful, beautiful person.
What an amazing
so he's provided music, original music for Gerald's Hands. We have one of the actresses. She's autistic, and she was in the movie. And the actress who plays actually Gerald's mom is autistic as well, and she was phenomenal. So just, you know, when you ask how we worked with, I should have said that. I mentioned the school bus, but
that's why we're both here.
Yes.
That's fantastic. What's Marcus's last name again?
Boyd.
Boyd.
That's pretty straightforward. I have a good friend, a wonderful editor named Scott Boyd. They're probably related, like 14th cousins or something.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let me ask you.
I was going to say I'm very jealous of your name, Nadira, because Nadira Pankey is like as distinctive as you get. Michael Levine is like almost John Smith in terms of his verbalness. And professionally, I go by Michael A. Levine because there were so many Michael Levines in the IMDb database. It was like, what am I going to do? And Hans Zimmer gave me a really hard time about this. He says it's pretentious, and I said, yeah, that's easy for Hans Zimmer to say. So.
But it's unique.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
So what I was going to ask is, how has the pandemic impacted your careers? Andrew, we're gonna go with you guys. Yeah, box number 2. How has the pandemic impacted your careers, and do you think you benefit from it?
Wow. Yes. Let me start this one.
Okay.
So the pandemic, when this began, I was acting then. However, I had a majority of my time was caught up in a day job, and I can recall, and let's just say it was a day and night job, because I spent so much time there and commuted back and forth, that I didn't really understand how trapped some people felt, or, you know, the quarantine, I'd heard rumors of the quarantine, but I never saw it. I was working in a place where I'd still see 3,000 people a day, which was, you know, seems incredible. But I was like, is it really real? Well, in the meantime, Nadira and the rest of the world was actually quarantining during that time, right? So it didn't necessarily slow anything down for me at first. And I was still acting in independent projects throughout. You know, the major studios did shut down, of course, for the most part, right? But that was a time for the independents to step up. And in all honesty, if you were willing and able to get out and work, there was in my world, there was a lot that could still be done.
The pandemic, it was really tough on me because I lost family members, that were really close and dear. And I remember losing one cousin, and we had to do a Zoom, we had to come together over Zoom. We couldn't even come together as a family and give her a proper burial or even, a funeral. So it was really, really tough. And it's a time when you make a decision. Are you going to just sit home and be depressed, or are you going to see are you going to see a cup as half full or half empty, right? You got, life. I still have a life. My body went through so much biologically for me to open up my eyes in the morning. What am I going to do with this life that I have? And so I just thought, okay, hey, what am I going to do here? I am also a screenwriter, and that's my first love, for one. Let me say, storytelling is my first love. And for so many years, I was writing screenplays, and it got into the Austin Film Festival. I had a great time, met some amazing people. It got into an Austin Film Festival a few times, a few scripts that I wrote, which I think is awesome. And I went one time to the festival. I had a great time. And then I'm also a producer and a director from what I learned in college. And so I said, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I have all the tools that I need right now to go out and to create. I know the people. So what we did is I took my savings, Andrew took his savings, and we went out and we created Gerald's Hands. But it was a process. It really did affect everything. We had to use the COVID protocol and just, trying to keep everybody safe on set. We had a skeleton crew. Mm-hmm. It was
in Atlanta, or
in Atlanta, yes. Skeleton crew. I was the director, the first AD, the second AD, location scout. Yes. Andrew was the actor, the producer. I mean, we had, props. Then we had our camera, the guy who did our DP, he was a DP. He did the lights. He was doing sound. And we kept the production really small with a minimum amount of people just for safety. And we were able to pull it off. And that's just really what it's been about. It's been trying to keep everyone safe, but still be creative and find that joy in life. And my joy in life is filmmaking. I'm sort of obsessed with it. It's an obsession, right? But yeah, that's what it's been. It's been really tough, but it's also been great. And the great thing about rewarding thing about the pandemic. So it's trying to find that cup half full is now everything is going to streaming, right? So before we needed to go through a bunch of channels and hoops and, and get a seat at the table and then get it greenlit. Now everything has gone to streaming. And I think it's a lot easier for independent filmmakers to get their work out there and get it seen.
Now was the time.
Mm-hmm. Because before it was just really all about if you have money or you have access. There's one other. And your work has to be great too. You have to understand, and Michael knows, he's a screenwriter. You have to understand how to write a screenplay. You have to understand structure and story and character development and building these worlds and stuff. But then it also has to do with access, right? And a lot of politics behind it. And I think now with the pandemic, now independent filmmakers have an opportunity to get their stuff streamed and to get it out there and to get it in front of people. And you don't have to go through, going through the normal channels of distribution, which was getting it in the theaters.
Hopefully
and getting
somebody will try to sell it for you.
Yes.
And,
yes. So, yeah.
Do you have a streamer lined up for your feature?
Well, we are looking right now. We don't have a deal on the table. So, but we do know that we always have Tubi. And that's what's the great thing. We want to get, we would love to get it like on a Paramount or, even a BT or, one of the big Warner Brothers. We would love that. We would be so happy because I think it's that quality. It's great quality, great sound, great story, right? Great storyline, great acting, superb. But we know that we have Tubi. So we do have an outlet to put it. Whereas before that wasn't really available for a lot of independent filmmakers.
So this is a beautiful time because there are so many different options and we now have time to sit at those tables and talk through negotiations and whatnot. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. Come, I would say by the summer, we're going to be in a great place.
Oh, perfect.
I actually wanted to make sort of a broader philosophical comment on something that Naz said, which is that that quality of obsession is, I think it's an autistic quality. I mean, what you're referring to at Asperger's is the politically correct thing is to refer to it as autistic spectrum 1. There are historical reasons because Asperger himself was palsies with the Nazis and it's kind of uncomfortable for people. Yeah. So people don't like the name Asperger's anymore, but what we used to call Asperger's is now called autistic spectrum 1. And one of a typical aspect of that is this kind of obsessive quality. And that's what makes a good artist. Artistic storytelling is something that goes back as far as we can tell to the beginning of what made humans humans. We've got cave paintings that are 40,000 years old, but probably music and storytelling preceded them. And, film is just the latest twist on this. It really is. It's something that, to our knowledge, that this is not something that chimpanzees and bonobos do, and maybe not Neanderthals either. We don't know. But certainly the Homo sapiens sapiens, which is, what we are, we are. Storytelling evolved with language, and who knows, maybe language got to be useful because it was good at storytelling and as opposed to just gesturing and whatever. And although there are lots of languages, a Native American medicine man was telling me a couple of weeks ago that you can't just say things in his language. You have to use hand signals as well because that's part of how you express it. So these kinds of language are, this is who we are. This is the essence of what human beings are. And music, dance, art, all of that is a form of storytelling. Film brings it all together. Motion, picture, people talking, music, all of that, which is what's so fun about it. But that obsessive quality that you referred to, that's what makes us good at this stuff.
No, I agree. Now we're wrapping up the show. It was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to hit that bell icon notification. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the bell icon notification. Leave comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. Wrapping up our talk show. It was a real honor and privilege. And I just want to say thank you for your time and have a good night.